So, welcome to another edition of the Lester Aldridge Property Particulars podcast. And today, my guest is Neeti Chauhan. Welcome, Neeti.
Thank you.
How are you today?
Very well.
Good,
Very
good.
well, thank you.
So, I thought I'd start with you. Let's find out a bit about you, your role here at Lester Aldridge, and how you and I, or you and the rest of the team, all know each other. Our history.
Yes, we have a long
We
history.
have a long history.
So, I came to Lester Aldridge in 2021.
Yes.
During our second lockdown.
Yes.
Previously, you and I worked together.
Yeah.
For a long time with John and
Yeah.
Andrew and Katie at another firm. I then decided, because I had two small children, that I wanted to take a career break and actually focus on being a full-time mum and paying all my attention to them
Yes,
and
quite
not
right.
worrying about conveyancing
Yeah.
and those issues. So I took 3 and a bit years out.
Yeah.
And then one fine day you called me and you said, hey.
Begging, possibly. For the second time.
For the second
For the
time.
second
For the
time.
second time.
Please.
Do you want to come back to work?
Yeah.
Stop being a full-time mum.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop messing around now.
But it just was at the right time at that point.
It was at the right time
Yeah.
at that point. We'd just come out of, or I think we were still in the second lockdown.
Yes.
But both my girls were in school now.
Okay, so
They-
that made the difference.
They had gone back to school 3 weeks
Yeah.
before school had opened and your call came.
So now that you're saying that, actually, even though we kind of, I wanted to introduce you, it's now prompted me that actually that was in the stamp duty holiday period.
Stamp duty
the government
holiday.
stamp duty holiday to get the industry going back, people buying as well. And yes, we were in panic mode and needed extra help. So you actually landed at Lester Aldridge just as it was in April, yeah, or in
April.
May, and we
April.
and that's just when they extended the stamp duty. So you came at it was horrifically hectic.
It was extremely hectic. I'd not been doing the job for 3 years. I still had mum brain. And I literally was thrown back into it. But the best way to pick up where you left off is to be thrown into it feet first. And
Yes.
that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was very...
Yeah, because then we still had 3
hectic.
months of that holiday period.
It was, yes, June. End
Yeah.
of June was the deadline.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, and actually, I think you and I had about 20 completions on the day of the last stamp, the 30th of June.
Yes. Yeah.
How did we do that?
I don't know.
How come we're still alive?
I don't know.
That is crazy.
But you do it, right? That's the thing with being a lawyer, is when you are under pressure
Mm-hmm.
and you have so much going on, you do just get on with it.
Yeah.
Because you don't have a choice.
Yeah, exactly. Now, how has that fitted in with you being a working mom? Because you don't work full hours.
I don't
a little
work
bit
full
reduced,
hours.
a
I
little
work
bit reduced.
reduced hours. So I work flexibly, which is great. I work school hours 4 days a week, and I work from home
Yeah.
4 days a week, and I come into the office one day, and I'm in the office for a full day, which I
Yes.
thoroughly enjoy.
We love it when you come in.
I get to see the team,
Yeah.
have a chat, get a coffee, whereas at home I'm literally just working,
Yeah.
because I know I have to leave at a specific time
Yeah.
to do the school run.
Yeah, but sometimes because there's a couple in our team that obviously do some home working and flexible working. But for me, actually, it works out really well because I know for those hours when you're at home, you are on it and you are getting through the work because you don't have the distractions that we do in the office.
Exactly right. I'm
You
not
know.
distracted at home. I have a clear working space. That's where I work. I really don't move from my desk. I have to get it done. And I have limited hours in which to get it
Yeah.
done. I don't have a choice.
Yeah,
Because
amazing.
once the kids come home,
That's it.
that's it. There's no
That's it.
chance of me getting anything done.
Good stuff. All right, so let's go into a transactional query question. So what do you think is one of the most common things that we get asked about on, say, for example, freehold purchase transactions by our clients?
Well, yeah, in freeholds, I think the thing I come across a lot is clients want to know who's responsible for the fence, who's responsible for maintaining this hedge. So it's trying to understand what the boundaries are and where does their land end? Where
Yeah.
does the neighbour's start?
Yeah.
And who is responsible for that?
Yeah.
So there is a question in the property information form where the seller does have to answer who's responsible for the boundary to the left, to the right, to the
Yes.
front and the back. And that's more important in freeholds rather than leaseholds, because in a flat, that's
Yeah,
not an
exactly.
issue.
Yeah.
So it does say that in the property information form. Sometimes you do get sellers who will say, don't know.
Yeah.
And then your buyer client will say,
then we get the queries coming
yes,
through.
oh, they don't know. What have they done? Who's responsible? A lot of the time, you won't know who's responsible. It's not always
just silent.
in the title deeds
Yeah.
who's responsible. And actually, it's just a case of speaking to your neighbour,
Mm-hmm.
being amicable, working it out between yourselves,
Yeah.
and getting that fixed.
Yeah. But then quite often when we start looking into those queries to do with that, we can kind of unearth other bits of potential issues or non-issues, because sometimes clients will be asking, well, who owns the verge at the front?
Yes.
Or at the side, who owns, and so we can kind of sometimes do a bit more investigation into that for them.
Yes, so obviously we have the map search facility
Yeah.
at Land Registry, which means we can get an overview of all the land in the area, and it will tell you and mark out in different colours those areas that don't belong in that title, and it will give you the title numbers for those areas,
Yeah.
so you can work out who owns those other areas. You can pull off the register for the client and figure out why is it that perhaps this grass verge is not included when it should be, or why is it that the end of the driveway hasn't come into the boundary when
Yeah.
clearly it is.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how would you get your car onto
Yeah.
the property?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really important as well, because we don't inspect the property. We don't ever go down onto the ground for a client to get a survey done.
Yeah, definitely. Especially on a freehold.
Especially on a
Yeah.
freehold, a surveyor can go in. It's not just about making sure that there's no damp coming through or the doors
Yeah.
are not rickety, but actually they can have a look at the boundaries
Yeah.
and mark those out as well. And if needed, you can also get a boundary surveyor to come in
Yeah.
and check that the boundaries are all in line.
Yeah, exactly. And quite often then when we get the survey, we'll always ask our clients to send us their survey report as well.
Yes.
Because quite often they'll have like a kind of legal section at the back, which we can cross-check, etc.
Yes.
against our inquiries.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we get to see the pictures of the nice properties as well.
Yes, love to
which
do
is,
that.
We love a picture of a property.
We love a picture of a property, not so much of the gutters.
No, that's true. Yeah, maybe we like the estate agent particulars better.
I do like the estate agent
Yeah.
particulars. A nice brochure.
And we love a brochure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love to see what other people are buying.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. Thank you. And so that, I suppose, leads on about what other people are buying. But so I wanted to ask about your property particulars. And have you bought and sold before? Was that stressful? Were you a good client?
Well, so I have bought 2 properties.
Yeah.
Sold 1. So the very first property I bought was a flat, a 1-bedroom flat,
Yes.
which my husband and I bought together
Yeah.
just after we were engaged. And it was stressful, but it was my dad who is my lawyer.
Amazing.
So
I love
he
it.
did he did the conveyancing for me, and I was probably not a very good client. I gave him
Phoning
a
him
hard
up.
time. Well,
Yeah.
I was living at home as
Oh,
well at the
right.
time, so I was like, "Dad, what's happening? Dad, when are you going to do this?" And actually, on the
That's
day of
cute.
completion, I do remember being so anxious,
Yeah.
and I totally get why.
Why our clients
Our
like that.
clients
Yeah.
on the completion day are so keen to know, have we completed, have we completed?
Yeah.
I remember calling him at 10 o'clock in the morning, and Dad, I was a trainee at the time, and I was sat in my office. I was
So you
like,
should have
"Dad,
known."
I should have known. I didn't. Dad, what's happening? And he's like, yes, the money's in the system,
Yeah.
dear.
It's stressful though.
Well,
isn't
I'll
it?
call you when it's done.
Oh, that's nice. Is that why you came into property? Were you inspired by your dad? I don't think I've ever asked you that before. I didn't know that.
Yes, so my dad was a conveyancer, and he was always very keen for my brother or I to become a lawyer. My brother flat refused,
Yeah.
and I also flat refused up to a point. And then I think when I was about 14 or 15, I was like, actually, I think I might like to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
So I was influenced by my dad.
That's nice.
Yeah, for sure.
That is nice.
For sure.
Okay, cool. All right. So to end with, I thought I'd ask you a fantasy question to do with property. So what would be your fantasy property, your ideal dream home or dream location or dream fixture within a property? You know, because we look at these brochures all the time and we're like, oh, we want that one.
Yeah.
What would be yours?
My ideal property would be a beachfront property.
Oh, yes.
I don't mind where
With your
it
own private
is.
beach, maybe? Or not so fussy?
I'm not that fussy. I don't mind if it's private or not.
Yeah.
But I'd love to have a beachfront property, but somewhere hot, somewhere tropical,
Yeah.
where it's always sunny.
Hot is a theme for the answers to this question so far.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it's because we live where we live?
Yeah, maybe. and it's been horrible weather recently. Yeah, okay, cool. Well, thank you very much, Neeti, for
Thank
joining me
you.
on this episode of Property Particulars. And yeah, please tune in again for another episode coming soon. Thank you.